we've known each other for a long time, like over 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were both fashion designers with different partners. We had worked, then we stopped to have some kids for a while, and then we started in the design world, like interior design.
We used to do fashion for a living, but we mainly do interiors. Nitz is a very good friend of mine. I have 3 sons, and Nitz is kind of friends with all of them at different times, and sort of really best friends with the older 2. He kind of straddles them all. He's here every Sunday. We have family dinners. My family's all out of town, and Nitz was my substitute son. That's how he's always around. And one day, Karen and I had made something for a friend of ours for her birthday.
I walked in and I was like, she was using the rope and creating some sort of Nike swoosh, and I said, wow, this is unbelievable. I think we should really bring this to life and collectively come together and think about different designs and ideas we should do on vintage Nike sweaters. So that's how it sort of got brought together. I think craftsmanship as a whole in fashion is, I don't want to say dying, but it's not as much as it once was there. You know, I kind of related to like an old Italian tailor that makes suits. You just don't see it anymore.
I mean, that was the difference, is that, like I said to Nitz, we have the skill and you have the connections. That was the kind of interesting part, right? Is that we're not connected, obviously, to this world. It's not our world, but we certainly can make things.
Well, we always start with well, obviously we source the sweatshirts, or Knit sources a lot of the sweatshirts. We decide on the swoosh. And then we choose the fabrication. Mostly they've been velvet.
Then we, you know, like I said, it's a process. We'll put that on, it's sewed on, then we have to choose what the trim is, and the trims are all handmade. And we gather them from various sources, and then we put on the rope. So you have to put the placement on, and then she hand stitches all of the rope on. And at that point, we might have already decided the flowers, and we'll send all the flowers, but that's all hand stitched. And then we either finish it with these gold-plated little caps, or we end it with flowers. But that's kind of, and then, you know, then we drop them, and then they sell out, and then we
and then we do it
then we
again.
make the hang tags.
And then we do it
and
again.
then Nitz ships them, and that's the way we do it.
But all the trims are vintage, sourced from everywhere. A lot of them come from handkerchiefs and things like that. So you source them, find them, get them sent here, take them apart. So same with all the flowers and all of that.
Yeah, they're all handmade, and a lot of them are really, really fine work from Turkey, because they sort of specialize in this kind of, but it's like needle crocheting with tiny little needles, so they're very fine.
So the sourcing process, and what I've learned about vintage Nikes, it never stops. There's so many different colors and designs and different embroideries that Nike's done over the past 40 years. There's always something new, which is amazing because all of our pieces are one-off, so it literally makes that sweater feel like a one-off piece.
And it was fun to rework something.
Because ultimately our background is fashion, which it's a street, and so it's kind of finding that balance, and I think it is a balance, and I think that's also maybe what struck a chord in people, is the ability to sort of go in between both worlds,
right,
you know?
Right.
What's up, dude?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man.
Let's do it. We are in Woodbridge, Ontario.
Yeah.
20 minutes outside Toronto. We are at Batch Vintage. This is Mark, this is Ariana. When I'm not sourcing it myself, they actually do all the work with me. You can see how much they love curating vintage, so that's why I like supporting kind of smaller, tight-knitted vintage stores like this.
Got that little bit of distress.
Yeah, very nice.
This one with the little script on it, though.
That embroidered?
Yeah.
That's really good. Holy shit.
Really heavy cotton.
I didn't even know they released that. Oh, that's the Nike Golf one.
Yeah, yeah.
When it's that thin, soft, worked-in sweater material, that's kind of the best, in my opinion, sweaters to buy.
It just feels so good.
It just feels great. It's not too heavy. So that's one thing. The year also is another thing. We try to stay under, you know, the 2000 era. So 80s and 90s Nike is our kind of.
That's the gold.
That's the gold right there. Yeah, anything over that doesn't really seem vintage to me. Like, I personally love when it's bleached like this by accident, or the distressing on the top, and the thinness of it is amazing. I mean, something like this for the Michigan Wolverines, it's a Nike, so we'll kind of put the swoosh right through it, and you can still see the embroidered Michigan and the Wolverines, which adds a nice touch to it. Or again, if you just go with the basic swoosh, we'll add a swoosh here. And I think for the most part, I think people like the basic stuff more than the loud stuff, just out of our experiences. And even, you know, just basic Nike embroidered sweaters like this are always a killer. You can't go wrong. There's a basic Nike logo.
Like white tag era?
Yeah.
There's a lot of sick Nike tags.
This is too. This is really good.
Nike's one. It's got like a good logo on the back too. Yeah.
Really?
Value Village everywhere, yeah. You'd be surprised what you find though, like,
I know.
and like up there we got all the tees, like
Yeah, all our
obviously like
prices
Oh, that is
some
cool.
old Nike
No way.
Aqua Gear wetsuit.
Oh, you gotta show this. That is crazy.
I think the idea for us also of working on top of garments that already exist, the quality is there, number one, they're not disposable. There's a certain amount of responsibility taken in reusing things, and everything isn't destined for the garbage.
It's not going to go out of style. It's not disposable like that. It's like something that it's sort of like Nike. That's something that you can always own.
Starting on top of something that's already has value is, for us, feels good.
It feels good.
The ability to work on something that was made so differently is also, you know, a part of it, and not have to make anything new and cheap, and we're not into making disposable things.
Females in this fashion industry don't get the credit that they should be getting. You know, obviously working with two women is unbelievable. I think for the most part in this fashion industry, we don't shed enough light on the women doing amazing things. We're seeing it already. Cactus Plant Flea Market is run by Cynthia, who I look up to a lot. Seeing it, Yoon Ambush, the head designer for Sakai, is a woman. So women are doing extraordinary things in fashion. I don't think we touch enough on it. And again, like ourselves, I work with two women, and the craftsmanship is unbelievable. So I think we should really shed more light on people like that in this industry, and especially women in general. No, I just think just ended off, and kind of blessed that I get to work with two amazing women that teach me a lot about this fashion industry and the craftsmanship of it. They teach me a lot. I feed off them, they feed off me, so it's an awesome trio and a dynamic, and it kind of feels like a family to me because it's my best friend's mom. They're both mothers, so it's kind of a homey environment. And yeah, that's pretty much it.